Hello, Internet. How's it going? Hello. It's time for more house building. House building and puzzle solving. I wonder why Discord isn't telling people that I'm streaming. It's really weird. Why is that a thing? Hey, Bean, how's it going? Howdy do. Let me turn stream remote back on. And bink and bink. Let's leave that there. Ta-da! I just snap my neck right off the rip. Welcome, welcome. The eternal house construction continues. How anyone could live in a house like this is beyond me. All right, what do we got? I don't need the shrine. Was there something I needed from the tomb? There is. Her ladyship's chamber. Okay. So let's do that. And then while we're down here... Alright, so we're gonna head this way. Oh, whoops. Eh. Where's the key? The key was down here. Yes. There we go. Alright, that's for if I can draft her ladyship's chamber, which the odds are not great, I will say. So I'll take that. And then the other thing I wanted to check is down here. We'll pop the door open. Hello, Draxus. Angel points to our dreams. Well, I can't see that. Pink. Oh, maybe it's on the map? Hold on. Yes. The angel points to our dreams is talking about the reservoir. Oh, that's a nice touch. All right. So one of these had a crack in it, perhaps? No, because these are stairs leading down, but this was supposed to follow the stairs, I think. Oh. That's the sigil of Arinda. Should I go and do that right now? I feel like I should. So what is that? 3 lines. I'm missing the outer rim. That's mountains. Wait. How do I get around? I think it's this way? So the boat's over there. And that's full. Okay. So I have to leave, then go down the back. That's fine. We'll go another time. We know that's there, and I have a screenshot of it. I made a screenshot of it ages ago. So, that's just one more thing added to our list. Alright. I'd like to solve the chess puzzle today. That has just sort of been a monkey on my back this entire time, and I'd like to get that dealt with. I'm wondering if that gives me another of the microchips that I need for the room that's down that way. Bit early for a dining room. Yeah, it's too early. Too early for a dining room. Dead end. I want to put that on a bedroom. I really should have done the hallway closet. All right, what's in the commissary? Gib. 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 Thank you, have a nice day. Bedroom. Closet. Oh. At some point, I need to draft the bedroom closet. It has to happen. Laboratory. Let's do the lab and get an experiment going. Something is beeping and... Oh! Oh, if I can get the battery pack! Oh, I hope I can get the battery pack. I want to try the jackhammer. For each bedroom after your second, add 1 gold. Find some trash while digging. Bedroom. Give me allowance. Me likey money. Oh. And log in. Let's turn down the number of keycard doors. There's just no need for it. Actually, let's not do that. So what was my experiment? Hang on. Each bedroom. All right, bedrooms are the play now. That's not a bedroom. As much as I can, I want bedrooms. All right, give me a kitchen. I'll take the club sandwich. And I'll take all the banana. And then I'm gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the beginning of the house and we're gonna finish drafting that bottom right corner. I wish. We're gonna do the kennel first. Oh, you know what? No, I have to. Who's a good boy? Here you go. Some scritches for you. Read a nook. Library, and then we've got a dead end. I can't afford it. I'll get the gift shop out. I don't have any money anyway. Kind of a shame, though, because the gift shop is a good room. Just for expansion purposes. But, here we are. So that turned into den, that turned into kitchen. Workshop. Battery pack, battery pack, battery pack, battery pack, magnifying glass. There was something I could do with the freezer. I'll hold off for now. If I can get the freezer room, we'll craft burning glass. Be a chapel here. Yes, yes. Take all my money. I get it. Faiths do be like that. Storeroom. All right, so there's a power hammer. We're gonna do secret passage. We'll come back. I need gems. I need gems so I can craft her ladyship's chamber. Guest bedroom. That's one gem. I don't know what I need the boiler room for at this point. There's the freezer. Do I take the L here? I think I do. All right. Because I have the tools. Where's the workshop? Here we go. We're gonna make burning glass. And we're gonna melt everything in there. Hopefully that works. I'm gonna be sad if it doesn't, because I did just basically end this run. Yes! Alright, give me a key. So those should be... This is weird. Oh, hi! Excellent. And what's this? The network servers are finally out of cold storage, or at least as many as we could fit into the surrounding walls of the grotto off of the East Drive. The last few days have been very busy, but I'm glad I was able to take a short break from gardening to help Randolph install the network. It was, after all, the least he could do, since it was I who suggested the final location. We decided that we are going to store the 2 unused servers here in Mount Holly's freezer. They should serve as readily accessible replacements should any of the primary consoles fail. Revad. That's big. That's big news. And then that's a server. And that's a server. And in here... Thaw only in the event of my death. Simon, I had wished for you to read this letter upon first arriving at Mount Holly, but I couldn't risk the contents of these pages falling into unsympathetic hands. My personal freezer should prove quite the safe box, as all of the staff have, for many years, respected my wishes that it remain shut and untampered. My favorite snacks were also stored here. But in addition to these delicious treats, it has also, for the past 20 years, stored many a cryptic message and ciphered note. This nondescript cooler is, in fact, a dubious frozen postbox of chilled secrets. Have you ever heard of the Children of Black Water? I have no idea how forthcoming your father has been about the details surrounding your mother's final chapter, or the role he thinks I played in that end. I have always denied involvement. To him, to the detectives, to the Crown, and now to you as well. But can I honestly say I had nothing to do with her disappearance? And yes, I speak of disappearance, not death. For I, too, cling to the hope that our fears are unfounded, and have occasionally, from time to time, caught fragments of information that bolster this belief. Fragments of information that have cost me plenty, for our country is never short of opportunists and blackmailers. Still, as I am now dead, I don't want this knowledge to be buried with me, even if that means passing the burden of these fragments onto you, even if that information may weigh even heavier on your head than the Crown involved. Unfortunately, this information is a little too precious to entrust entirely to this freezer, as I'm not too confident that the sanctity of my snacks will extend beyond my life. I've always found it best to use multiple baskets when it comes to incriminating eggs, a lesson that I recently learned again when a member of my staff betrayed my confidence. I have placed 8 red envelopes in 8 even more secure locations throughout the estate, and left a hidden message for you among the art that hangs in almost every room in this house. This message is the key to unlocking these secrets, but you must be open in your interpretation, as the message itself harbors multiple double meanings and hidden entendres. One final word of guidance: the safe combinations you are seeking will not be found in writing on the estate. So I hope you haven't been wasting too much time jotting down random invoice numbers and dates. Only by deciphering the many meanings of the 44-character message can you hope to unlock its many mysteries. To each their own letters. Herbert S. Sinclair. Shit. There's the 44. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, granduncle, granddad, whatever. Anything else in here? No. Well, I got played. Me writing down all of those dates has been meaningless. Regrettable. I mean, it does make sense, though. Because what do we have? I've opened 3 of those safes, right? Also, I minimized you. Why did you come up? Minimize should put it at the back of the alt-tab list. That's dumb. So far, the study safe was on a chessboard. The... Oh, well... Yeah, the study safe combination was a puzzle on the chessboard. The boudoir was in a picture, and the shelter was the time lock safe, and that was based off of the current date. So now I can't spend gems anymore. Which means I'm kind of SOL. So, in that case, I'm just gonna go up and try and do a bedroom. Now we're just gonna try and draft as many bedrooms as we can. Two bedrooms? Good. Perfect. And that's the end. And we call it a day. Mid-sized villa. Dun, dun, dun. Right, give me that. Same thing. If we see the crypt, we take it. We'll take the tool shed. Metal detector and watering can. That's not too bad. Metal detector is actually really nice because it gets you more items and can be combined into so many other items. All right, spare green. Commissary. What's for sale? Gems, 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 gems. Hey. Do the den. And this room is free. I'll do the storeroom. It's too early for the patio. Let's back out and go to the other side. Because I think the greenhouse can only spawn on the east side, and I would like to get the greenhouse. We'll do drawing room. Can I get a bedroom here? Bedroom. Can I get a walk-in closet? Or closet in general? No. Alright, hello security. Alright, log into network. Maybe we should go and enter the admin password and find out what that does. That would be cool. Remote access, terminals, laboratory. Experiment setup. Should we do each time we find trash? No, bedrooms. Bedrooms, bedrooms, bedrooms. And also keycard system settings, security level low. Offline mode unlocked. There we go. Reading Nook. Reading Nook. That gets us a library. There are more books that I want to be able to read. I am currently too poor for the bookshop. We'll do the music room. There's something else in here. There we go. All right. Since we're already at the entrance, let's go try out the admin password. This admin key is being deactivated. You jerks! Also, I forgot to do the system upgrade disc last time, so I do need to draft another freezer. If I drafted a freezer now, it would actually be pretty nice. Observatory. Oh, we got a treasure mount. Hello. Where do you take me? 3, 4, 5. We're at 3 right now. Ooh, hello. All right, we zoom on through. Like Zaboomafoo. More hallways. Eternal hallways. I do want the locker room. All right, what we got here? Oh, hello. I'm not going all the way back to security. That would be too many steps. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 steps. That's almost half of what I've got left. I can't do that. Do the parlor. I gotta keep solving these puzzles. The white box is empty. This is the only true statement. There are 2 false statements. It's in the white box. There's no other information about where it could have been. Alright, we'll do the pump room. Pump-a-rump. Nope, no picking that lock. Locker room. And I can't pick any of these, huh? Clock tower. What time is it? I really don't want to sit here and just wait for the right time. Oh my god. It's not even close to 1:30. It's gonna be a while. I think if I get a freezer, I'm gonna take it. Do I have the broken lever? I don't have the broken lever. Curses. There's the broken lever. Now, before I go any farther, we're gonna backtrack a little here, because I do have that treasure map. And it does lead to this. It does lead to this room. What do we got? 40 gold. Veranda's pretty nice. What's it pinging? Aha! Fine. Secret garden key. Spaz! Hey, yo! What's up? Oh, that's my last use of the watering can. There's no kitchen in this house. Might as well pop the lever. Just did my 2 hours at work for the day, caused chaos, and then left. Excellent, as you should. Drafting studio. Every time you enter dormitory after drafting a thing room, gain 10. We're gonna do the classroom. A commissioned blueprint made for Reddington Elementary. These floor plans were deployed in Mount Holly as a short-term solution to allow the curriculum to continue uninterrupted while the new school was being built. Bing! Alright, so somewhere in this room, likely... No way, right? 12, 17. Nope, it's not today's date. I'm not seeing... Nothing really in there. What's the metal detector going off for? Ah! There it is. $11.7. That's probably not it either. No. There's nothing else special about this. Should we try every day in November? And what is this? Is this a classroom? I don't think so. Is that this room? That's this room. And that's supposed to be us standing at this table. I'm not seeing anything else that denotes a specific date, is the problem. I asked the superpower question, then we devolved into Wild Thornberry impressions just as Boss walked in and was looking at us like we were crazy. I fell to the floor cry laughing. That's hilarious. Three, 4, 5, 2... There's 5 gates. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gates. $11, 8. Let's just try every day in November. $11, 8 did it. Uncle, in a few hours we are departing. As planned, we will be taking the old Mountain Way tunnels to the north. We will go as far as we can by trolley until the rails give out. Then we'll proceed on foot until we reach the southern border. I've never been as excited, nervous, and heartbroken. I may never know if I've made the right decisions, but I've made the ones I felt my father might have nodded in approval at. I'm leaving a message for Simon here in the safe house, this unhallowed cave that we've called home for the last year. If something should happen to me, please guide him to this place. Try to show him what these last days were all for. Lost days. Explain to him, if you can, the intersection between foolishness and doctrine. The thin wire we stood upon, above the world, holding hands and throwing stones. Holding hands and throwing stones. In those days, we were guilty of everything. As always, Mary. All right, well, secret passage, Porpo. Oh, I don't have the mask. Darn it. All right, so that's my second bedroom. Ishi. Wait. Oh, there was another key here. We'll buy one special key. And another prism key. Do I have 2 prism keys now? No. How many keys do I have? 13? Alright, that's good. How far back do I have to go to the locker room? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I need to keep track. At least it's not a prison pocket. Woof! Alright. Sleep mask. Gain an additional effect of each constellation observed in the observatory. I already did the observatory, but it won't tell me what the additional effect is, will it? Alright, let's go back right now to the locker room, and we're gonna open every freaking lock in that place. I took a wrong turn. I have to go down one more. Here we are. And let's go upstairs and see what our timing is. Not even 11 yet. There's a gem there. I saw it. I don't need it, but I saw it. Alright. So I did that first one. We unlock everything. Now I really want the freezer. Boring. Six or 0. I don't know what that's supposed to be for, though. Kirk Darren is a pseudonym. Actually, I don't even need to do a screenshot of that. I'm just gonna write it down. Kirk Darren is pseudonym. Does that mean it's also like a not a palindrome, I don't remember what the word is. When you jumble the letters and it forms another word, I don't know why I can't remember what it's called. An acronym. No, that's not what that is at all. I don't know if that's even a word. Alright, that should be every lock in the locker room unlocked, except for this one that I can't interact with. So maybe that'll be something that we encounter another time. There'll be a specific locker room key or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll swing back shortly. Do I want a green room? No. Servants' quarters would have given me more allowance, but also have been a dead end. Hello, grade 1 classroom. There's the office. Now hang on. Where's my chess piece list? I don't have a study, do I? No. Is it on the table? It's not in the desk. Oh, there it is. All right. The date's gonna be in March. There we go. Dear Mr. Sinclair, thank you for promptly answering all our demands, not involving the police, and allowing this unfortunate transaction to transpire as smoothly as one could hope. And while I'm guessing you had hoped to never hear from us again once we had given you back the envelopes, we felt that one final red letter of our own was merited given the circumstances. Hopefully you will not be as careless with this missive as you were with the others. Correspondence this incriminating should be kept in safes, not desk drawers. Let's first put your apprehensions aside, as I'm sure another red envelope is the last thing you expected to find on your desk this week. No, we are not making more demands, and no, we do not have copies of the other letters. You were already more than generous and accommodating, and the least we can do is fulfill our end of the bargain. So why write to you at all? Why incriminate ourselves further if we already have what we want? In a word, principles. After reading your eloquent reply to our initial note, it became apparent to us there had been a few misunderstandings. This letter is intended to clarify some of these points, and hopefully will place our schemes in a softer light. First, we may have gotten too excited with the colorful language of blackmail, but our goal was never to terrorize. Despite what you may believe you interpreted as thinly veiled threats against your young nephew, I want to personally assure you there was never any tangible danger. If we gave any impression we would hurt the youngster, it was meant only in a very vague sense of hurting his social prospects. And yes, while we admit that our word choices might be questionable, enough so that it would be reasonable to accuse us of being intentionally misleading, we hope you believe us when we tell you that this was not a calculated ploy to elicit payment. However, as payment has been received, there is nothing to be gained by scrutinizing the questionable ethics that were employed in our extortion of those funds. Little defense can be mustered on that score. Additionally, any judgmental tone you may have detected when we discussed the content of your stolen letters was entirely unintended. We want it on record that we do not consider ourselves superior to you and your family in any way, and are in fact entirely sympathetic to the underlying cause that the letters pertain to, and you thought this letter couldn't get more incriminating for us. Again, we feel guilty as sin, and only time will tell if the financial recompense will outweigh our culpability. Even though you will never hear from us again, we hope this parting letter will result in you thinking of us and our dealings, if not favorably, at least sympathetically. Sorry for the inconvenience. Forever Anonymous, X. Interesting. So the blackmailers felt bad. Does this even work? No. Ooh, kitchen. Big moment. Because we can grab that. We can grab that. We can grab all of these. Refill that. These are all dead ends. They're all dead ends. All right, before we do anything much more with that, we're gonna go this way. Wait, I thought apples were extra delicious. Oh, they are extra delicious today. They usually give 3, I think. All right, come on, clock tower. I noticed that the music just stopped when we walked in here. It's just past 12. How idle do I want to be? Four, 5, 6, 7. I have the broken lever. I can gamble with the enhanced one. Hang on. Let's set a stopwatch and see how long this takes. All right. Starting in 2, 1, bing. How long is it gonna take to get to the 5? It's gonna be a lot more than 10 seconds, that's for sure. Is that 30 seconds? It's a little bit longer than 30 seconds. So is that gonna be 10 minutes? 5 minutes? Probably 5 minutes. I've got a little bit of time and a lot of steps and nothing to do with them. So we're gonna pull a slot machine a few times. Ka-chonk. So this is the same thing. I just get more bonus spins. Come on, catch her. Nope. I don't know that this will get me anywhere. I mean, it would be nice to hit the jackpot, but I don't see that happening. All right, couple more spins and then we'll head back. All right. I will return. Spread gold. All right, clock tower. Give me your secrets. As much as I don't want to, whatever the time here is, we're gonna wait. Yeah, no, we're just gonna wait. This is gonna be painful, and I'm probably gonna run some ads and get some ads out of the way. But I can't miss this again. I just can't. So, we're gonna run an ad, and then we're gonna run another ad. I'll see you on the other side. And as for the rest of you... So I think this refers to Orinda, which means we should have most of what we need for that sigil. What's that? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We've got to wait. That's painful, but it's better than missing it for like the 5th or 6th time, which is what's gonna happen if I wander off. Oh, I can't run another ad. Okay, that's fine. Wait, can I run another ad from here? No. Okay, that's fine. There you go again with the gambling addiction. I mean, here's the thing, right? I got 30 gold budgeted, and the only thing I can do with it is gamble. Is it really an addiction in that case? All right. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but it's gonna happen. There's no obvious thing to interact with here. But it's almost 1:30. It's almost that time. Whatever's gonna happen, I just hope I don't miss the timing and mess it up. Watch as nothing happens. That would be the most frustrating thing. That's a nice view of the house. What a weird house, though. Oh, music just stopped. There we go. Kind of reminds me of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, from the oddness of it. Oh, I agree completely. That like nonsensical architecture that's still very Okay. Each of these clocks should be set to a different time. 5 of these clocks should be set to a time ending on the hour. Set this clock to a time containing all different numbers. This clock's neighbors should both be set to a time containing a 7. This clock should not be set on the hour. None of these clocks should be set to times that contain 1, 2, 3, or 4. This clock should be set to a time that contains the same 3 numbers of another clock here, but in reverse order. The clocks are positioned so that their times will go up in ascending order. In which case... Let me see. None of these clocks should be set to times that contain the numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4. So, if I do... Oh, this could be noon. Or no, ascending... So, this has to be, like, 5 o'clock. It's time to face another puzzle. How dare you? This clock's neighbors should both be set to a time containing a 7. It does not feel like there's enough information here, but if we stick it out, we'll figure something out. This clock should be set to being on the hour, so this will be 7 o'clock. Because it's in red. It's typed in red. So that's a lie. Blue is the color that's true. So none of them should be 1, 2, 3, or 4. This clock should be set to a time that contains the same 3 numbers of another clock here, but in reverse order. So that's 7 o'clock. What's up, Clever? Is this a clock tower? It sure is. All right. So if that's 5. And this is 6. Oh, whoops. Because this I have not seen before. I'll probably not look at you play anymore since you're getting ahead of me, but good luck. Thanks for stopping in, Clever. Cheers. Yeah, I got a few more envelopes too. Figure out the safe office code? I sure did. I figured out the office and the drafting studio codes. Isn't the drafting studio code the same as the study, since it's a tiny study copy? Not sure. Actually, I can double check that. I don't know whether you want the answer to that. Well, I need to keep trying dates. Me too. Oh, you meant in the game. This really doesn't feel like I have enough information. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything's in 8s. One more thing about red memos. Oh yeah, no, I'm aware. Yep, I'm aware of that one, Clever. Okay, well, good luck. Thank you, and good luck to you as well. See, I might ask for help later. Well, feel free. I'll try to give hints without spoiling. 5 should be on the hour. All looks bolded, but I don't think it is. It has to have a 7. This clock's neighbors should both be set to a time containing a 7. So what is that going to be? 7:07? 7:57? I don't know. This clock should be set to a time that contains the same 3 numbers of another clock here, but in reverse order. They're in ascending order. So what can I do here that can be reversed? Because I can't reverse something with a 7 in it. The only way to reverse something with a 7 in it would be to have it be a palindrome, and that would be the same, not reversed. 5:38, 8:35? Should we do that? I do 5... Wait. If I do 5:38, hang on. Or 5:28, I don't know. If I do 5:28, right? That's 8:25 on the other end. This has to contain a 7, and at least 2 of the digits have to be different. Should we do 5:57? Let's try 5:57. 5, 5, 7. This clock's neighbors should both be set to a time containing a 7. And that'll be 7 something. We'll just have that be 7 o'clock. One, 2, 3, or 4. So we can't have 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that can't be 5:57. Because the lowest time this could be is 50 something. You cannot do a minute hand less than the 50s. Shoot. 5:28. 5:58. This has to have a 7. Should we do... I can't do 6:68. That doesn't work. What if this one is 7 o'clock? If that's 7 o'clock... This clock should be on the hour. This has to be 7 o'clock. This has to have at least 2 numbers that are the same. This clock should be set to a time that contains the same 3 numbers of another clock here, but in reverse order. $5:59. Let's do 5:59. So if I do 5:59, this could be 9:55. 9:55. If this is 7 o'clock, no, wait, hang on. This needs to be in ascending order is the big problem here. That's what I'm running into right now. And it can't ascend this way because there's too many of them. It has to start over here. This can only be... like... I don't know. This clock has to be on the hour. This clock has to be 7 o'clock. Between these 2 hints, this clock has to be 7. This has to be before 7. This has to be before 7, which means this has to be in the 5s. Right? Or can it be in the 6? It can't have all different numbers. It can't be. Can't be 660, 656, 657. 7 has to be the last minute's place. What the heck? This has to be 557. There's no other way to do this. 557. Because it can't be lower than 50. It has to have a 7 in it. Can't be 2. $555. 557. That's a 7 something. I suppose, hang on. So that's 557, right? 557. 7 o'clock. This could be 7:55. All right. So that's 5 o'clock. That's 5:55. It's 5:57. This will be 6 o'clock. That'll be 7 o'clock. This will be 7:50. $7:55. So wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3. That could be 8 o'clock or any time, really. One on the hour, 2 on the hour, 3 on the hour. So that's got a 7. $7.50, $7.55. There's something I'm missing here. Let's just set this to 8. Clocks are positioned so their times will go up in ascending order. Set to a time that contains another 3 numbers. 7:55, 5:55, 5, 6, 7, 7:50, 5:57, 7:55. That's the only one I can invert, right? $5:57, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. 750, 755, 8. Which of these can become an on-the-hour clock? This is on the hour. I think that is where it has to be. I think this is where it has to be. I think this is where it has to be. Right? Wait. If this is 5:05, this still has to be 5:57. Right? This has to be 5:57 so that it can be reversible as high as possible. 7:55, yeah. Otherwise, I can't invert that. And it needs to have a 7 in it. So this is irrelevant. Whether it's 5:05 or 5:50 or 5:55, it doesn't matter. And it has to be before this clock. This one's on the hour 6 o'clock. This one's on the hour 7 o'clock. This has to be 7:50 so that this can be 7:55. Or again, it could be 7:05, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. None of them should contain 1, 2, 3, or 4. None of them do. Are some of the memos lying? Yes. This memo is a lie. The red memos are lies unless they're handwritten. Okay. Five o'clock, 5:05, 5:57, 6, 7, 7:50, 7:55. Five should be set to a time ending on the hour. This has to be an inverse. It cannot be on the hour. This could be on the hour. This has to be on the hour. This clock should not be set on the hour. So it should be on the hour. This has to be on the hour. They have to ascend. Although it doesn't say they can't be the same time. Does it? Does that mean our positions so their times will go up? Yeah, it has to go up. Can't just stay. This has to have a 7 in it. Can I make this a 7 o'clock time? No, because that turns it into a palindrome. And that doesn't work. This is the only way it can have a 7 and be reversible. What about something like a clock having 5:08 and 8:05 for a reversal? I mean, this could be 508. And then what is it? This one is the reverse. $8.05. And then this is 9. But that's still, I still am not sure. So 5 o'clock. Which of these can be on the hour? If this one becomes 8. There we go. Yay! Bing! Good thought there. All right, we got a sanctum key. Let's head down there and turn the lock. Foundation. It said it had to be ascending, not that it had to be much different. Oh yeah, they did have to be different though. I have a friend that I watched play a little bit. They're farther behind than me, but their foundation is set so that this elevator exits towards this door, and I'm kind of jealous. I think there was something else I was going to look at while I was down here. I'm trying to remember what it was. Should we do another puzzle down here? While we're here. I'm gonna run an ad because the ad's gonna run on its own anyway. So see you in 90 seconds. And while that runs, we're gonna pull up the Sanctum key list. Third is up high up among all the clocks. Okay. Chunk. There we are. I only have 2 red envelopes to go. We're being so productive. All right. We'll take a look at Arinda and see if we can get that sigil sorted. There we go. All right. Hello, Arinda. Let's see. So that one I'm not sure about. That I think is correct. That I think is correct. So we're gonna try each of these. There we go. That was the only thing that was missing. What have we here? 8 realms in 8 months. Oh, this is a clue. 8 realms in 8 months. The objective was simple enough, but in what order? What route? And where to start? Questions like these are the ones I tend to ignore, as planning has never been my strong suit. Well then, in the true spirit of adventure, I have departed, forsaking both map and plan, and as it happens, the road has taken me south. It seems fitting to begin the journey by visiting a fragment of the Old Kingdom. A landmark as black in realm as it is in name, and a story I feel closely connected to. All right. 8 realms order. We started with... what were the names? I have forgotten the names. Where did I put them? Araha. Oh, actually, let's move that down one, and then, Fen question mark. I don't know if Fen counts, because that's where we're starting. Morajai box! Alright. Huh? Alright, so the only thing I can do here is this, then that, then that. Okay, so they need to be blank, I see. We'll flip that. Okay, all right, I see. We'll do that. Oh, whoops. That didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. So those are where I want them. Wait, do I have to get yellow in the middle? I do. Okay. That slightly changes things. Um... What have I done? And then there. Hmm. And I end up in the same spot, though. That's not what I wanted to do. No. Okay, we're good. Then there. Then there. Boom. Give me my allowance. Alright, that's another one of those solved. So those two are solved. Let's go do our gambling. Do I need to? Let's check if we have... let me see. How do I get out there? Let's go this way. We'll check to see if there's a queen anywhere in the house, because if so, I can do the chess puzzle. Watch as I don't have a knight or something. That would be the worst. Alright, no... No... Yes. Oh, and one of these is fractured? There it is. So if I had... I don't know if it's the jackhammer or the power hammer that I would need to break that. Alright. Is there a queen somewhere? I have the office, so I should have a king. No. We call it a day. Very productive day. We got 2 red envelopes. And solved a sanctum puzzle. Give me that. If we get the tomb, we take the tomb because I want the key and get into that fricking diary. I don't know whose diary it was, though. Is that our mom's diary, or is that the grandfather's wife's diary? Tomb? Classroom would be another good one to do, but that seems like the kind of thing that I need to stockpile gems for. Let's not forget to grab the money this time. And I should probably open the Draxus statue. Does it matter? It doesn't really matter, I don't think. The one puzzle that, in retrospect, I find really funny is the time lock safe. Because what the heck is the point of a safe when the only thing that it requires, that is required to open it, is today's date? I guess we'll do the bedroom. Get some more steps in, right? Oh, well, would you look at that? How convenient. Closet, 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 closet. Darn it. Parlor. The gems are in the white box. This statement is as true as the statement on the black box. The gems are not in the black box. The gems are in the white. The statement is as true as the statement on the black box. The gems are not in the black. The gems are in the white. This statement is as true as the statement on the black box can itself be a lie, and it does not contradict the other things. Is this the king or the queen? Is this a queen? Yes, this is a queen. Right. And that gets me a bunch of extra steps because of sleep mask. To the commissary. Give me all the gems you got. We'll do the reading nook. We'll do the den so we don't dead end. I'm back. Did I miss anything interesting? I solved a puzzle underground. That's the extent of it. And we got a hint to one of the puzzles that's in room 46. We'll do the bedroom closet. I would like to do the indoor nursery, but this is so out of the way that it's not beneficial to have here. Guest bedroom, give me the steps and the gem, I guess. Alright, they're sold out. We'll do the workshop. What do we get? Oh, now I get the spare battery. I have a shovel. Do the spare green room. Hack jammer! Shovel, battery pack, broken lever. More effective than the shovel at excavation, digs deeper and finds better items. Hey, yo! The trophy of invention for creating all 8 contraptions. What needs power at this point? I'm done with the pump room. I'm done with lab. Those were the major 2 that I can think of. I guess I'll do the storeroom. Should I make it a green? No, we'll do a hallway. Opens up continued progress. These are all dead ends. So we'll do the pool hall, gets us more keys. And so it's 8, 11 times 3 is 33, minus 13 is 20. 1 and 6 is 7, times 2 is 14, minus 3 is 11. 3, wait. Huh? You can't tell me I have to do fractions now. Are you serious? 3 divided by 20. Calculator, please. I'm not doing that in my head. Three divided by 20. Oh, I have a stopwatch going. Turn that off. Go away. 3 divided by 20 times 9 times 4 minus 20. There's something wrong here. That comes to negative 14.6. So 3. No, I'm reading that wrong. It's 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1. Times 9 is 9. Times 4 is 30... 32? 30... No. 36. Minus 20 is 16. Thank you. God, brain, please work. We're not done with stream yet. You can't just stop working like that. It's not helpful. We're finally gonna get to dig with the jackhammer. Pair of gems. Pair of old keys. Silver key. Oh my god. The jackhammer's overpowered. I'm going up here. I'll do drawing room. Let's go this way. Patio. I noticed that it doesn't fade to black when I use the jackhammer. Her ladyship's chamber. Excellent. And I have the diary key. Her ladyship's sleep diary. My dear diary, after countless sleepless nights and failed home remedies, my physician has urged me to document my sleeping routines in the various bedrooms of our estate. It is his hope that by tracking the caliber and length of my sleep in each room, together we may come to a deeper understanding of my condition and perhaps, with luck, find a more favorable environment in which I might finally find some amount of rest. Clara. My dear diary, to begin, hey Johnny, I thought it best to start with my own room, despite already knowing how unsuitable it has been for my sleep of late. Perhaps it is all the old memories that linger here, as it is impossible not to think of home among so many mementos of my youth. Nonetheless, I find comfort in gazing at the stars before dozing off, and it pains me to consider that if this trial is successful, it may be one of the final occasions that I sleep here. My room. Sleep duration, 2.5 hours. Quality, peaceful despite brevity. Oh, wait, hang on. We're gonna take screenshots of all of this. Paint. Lady Diary 1. Lady Diary 2. Diary 3. Sleep duration 2.5 hours. Quality peaceful despite brevity. Observable effects. I awoke the following morning with 10 less steps, but also observed an additional star in the sky. Oh, so there are effects to ending the day in the bedrooms. Lady Diary 4. Last night, I retired to the guest room, as I have yet to gain the courage to ask anyone to surrender their room to me, even for a night. This bedroom is a cozy space, normally reserved for guests staying the weekend. However, I found, despite having a choice between 2 beds, that neither proved to be very comfortable. I must speak with Herbert about this, as our guests deserve, at the very least, as much comfort in their stay as we have. Guest bedroom, sleep duration 4 hours, quality very fragmented, observable effects, nothing special. Diary 5. My dear diary, it was strange to sleep in the childhood room of my late husband. The room was just as I imagined it from the stories he told me of growing up with an elder brother. Herbert informed me that the room has remained untouched, almost identical to when they both occupied it. To avoid any accidents, I slept in the bottom bunk, as climbing ladders is not as easy as it used to be. Despite my exhaustion, my thoughts of Simon kept me up through most of the night. Clara. Sleep duration twice the usual. Quality 2 times as restless. Observable effects. The next morning, I went to the family tomb to visit his grave and was surprised to find a flower already laid. Diary 6. I could not bring myself to ask Hartley directly if I could borrow his room for my sleep study. The mere thought of it was mortifying. Instead, I decided to roll the die, as he often puts it, and wait for his night off to sneak into his room to nap. The experience of sleeping in a servant's room was thrilling, but the fear of getting caught was overwhelming. Every little noise startled me, and I couldn't manage to sleep for more than a few moments, fearing Hartley would return at any time. Servant's quarters. Sleep duration, perhaps 1 hour? Quality terrible. Effects about half the steps the following day. I also discovered a stray die had found its way into my pocket, which was hardly shocking, given Hartley's history. Lady Diary 7. My dear diary, I have to confess that I was initially hesitant to spend the night in the Baron's room. It's extravagantly showy, with every surface adorned with gold, and every piece of furniture so large it seems almost comical. But as I lay down on the enormous bed, I was surprised to find I felt entirely at ease. Even the absurdly oversized pillows were somehow comfortable, propping me up just right so that I didn't feel any strain on my neck or back. I slept more soundly than I have in weeks, and I woke up feeling genuinely rested for the first time in what feels like forever. Master bedroom. Sleep duration, 8 whole hours. Quality, the best in many months. Observable effects, I woke feeling very refreshed with more energy and steps than normal. Itchy nose. As fate would have it, just as I had begun to make progress in my quest of slumber, a most joyous event has interrupted my progress. My beloved daughter has given birth to a son, and has requested my presence in town to assist her during this exciting but demanding time. For now, I shall take my leave of the bedrooms of Mount Holly, but I am certain, dear diary, that one day I shall return. Huh? That has to be a clue. I don't know what about that is a clue, but we can't open this diary without already having access to that. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to signify. Are those supposed to be exits? They shouldn't be. I wish I could get that kind of sleep. Sheesh! What, 8 hours? Oh, man. So wait, hang on. What happens if I sleep here? 10 less steps, additional star in the sky. Okay. Is there anything else? Hang on. Any other beneficial ones? The bunk room, and I should go to the tomb. Bunk room and master bedroom are beneficial, otherwise no. All right, so now I have 2 queens. I need an office. Redraw. Do the library. Do I have a silver key? Standard key is fine. We'll do the conference room. Here we have the office. Can I solve the puzzle now? There is a king in here, right? All right, we have a king, we have a queen. We have a pawn. I need a bishop. I have a rook. I need a knight. I'll come back here for more money. so that's a bishop. I'll do the showroom. Even though I'm broke. Special key, silver key. I'll do the Great Hall. And I didn't pay attention, so sad. Is that everything I need? We got the bishop. We got the knight. Everything's 50% off today, except... I mean, the bookshop's not bad. Bookshop's not a bad sale at all. We'll do treasure trove. The true treasure of the trove is not in the house. No, I have a feeling it's at the bottom of the reservoir. Treasure trove. Veranda seems fine to me. Give me more keys. Yo, the jackhammer's busted. Bit late to start an experiment, but here we are. Each bedroom you draft. Game one of each. Game one random, I should say. I don't need anything from security right now. Dining room is free steps. And we have a showroom. Excellent. Now I have tons of steps. I'm gonna do that just for the extra openings. Scott, do I buy the Ultron skin without actually trying him to see if he's good? I already have the currency. I don't know, do you? I don't really care about the locksmith. Look at my trophies! Are they all gonna be locked? Oh, thank goodness. Hallway. Please don't be locked. Security. I don't need anything from security, but we're here. Do the attic. I have poor impulse control. I need somebody else to decide for me. Hold. Don't do it yet. I want to actually see it before I give you input on it. Because I don't know what the new skin looks like. Have you managed to complete a run? Oh, have I completed a run? Absolutely. But there's still so much that I'm still learning. I have beaten the game. I have not finished the game. The ballroom is a trap. The kitchen is not needed. He gets a cool energy cape. That is pretty cool. Come on, locker room. Actually, do I need locker room? Does anything carry over if you can't get to that one room? Or do you just, like, keep your notes you learned and start from zero? It's roguelite. Some things carry. One, two, three. We'll do the servants' quarters. Meow. Where am I going? Am I going the right way? I am not. Wait, yes I am. Oh, I have 8 keys? Let's open these. I have so many gems! Can I have a freezer, please? Maybe I should re-roll specifically for a freezer. I was hoping to find a secret garden key, but that's not going to happen. Can I get a bookshop somewhere? I want to either get a bookshop or... Oh, hang on. Let's... Okay, so there's something back there behind one of those 2 doors. Oh! Hi, Diggy. How much money we got here? $25 and 3 gems. Dang it! I wanted the money. I mean, pump room's free. Alright, we'll redraw. Locker room would have been nice earlier, but I don't need the keys anymore. Come on, casino. Casino! Actually, why did I want that? The showroom exists. I have to buy out the showroom. All right, where's the office? It's right next to the conference room. I have one more room down here. What am I gonna open here? Let's find out. Is there any point to having gems anymore? Let's try and get a freezer. Oh wait, no. Oh, I can't do the freezer yet. I have to buy stuff out. Dang it! Oh well, drafting studio. Let's do the dorm. Small sleeping quarters devoid of frills and distractions are ideal for the student, scholar, or denizen of academia who wish to focus on their studies without interruption. Study and sleep, rinse and repeat. I'm not an intelligent person. I got very lucky. All right, spread gold. Thank you. Huzzah for money. Oh no. I was about to say I'm a dum-dum because I could have crafted a something that doubled the gold I picked up, but that would have required rabbit's foot, which I don't have. All right, ornate compass, chronograph, silver spoon, moon pendant. Oh. Well then. I'll have to remember that for next time. I mean, there should be some more money outside. Might as well go there now. Considering I have other things I need to do. What's my path out of here? Left and then straight down. Alright, we'll stop by the tomb. We'll grab the money. Definitely ain't 100 here. I could go to the casino and try and gamble my way up to 100. That might make the gambling actually worth doing. It's detecting all the money in the fountain. That's really funny. We love gambling. Yeah, gambling's bad for you. Let's go. That said, we can finally solve this chess puzzle. I've been sitting on this puzzle for a week. Alright, let me me see. Where was it? Oh, that's the bishop. Queen, that's the king. There. Queen is like here. Security was over here somewhere. Pawn I could put like anywhere. Choose your piece to receive a new permanent power. I'm sorry. Ambition of the pawn. When you reach rank 8 each day, you may choose knight, bishop, rook, or queen. Gain the power of that piece until the end of the day. Mantle of the knight. Add the armory to your draft pool. Each time you draft a room on the queen side, west wing of the house, lose 5 steps and gain 1 key. Each day, you may choose a color. Rooms of the chosen color are more likely to be drawn while drafting. Piety of the bishop. You do not have to pay tithes. Instead, gain 30 gold the first time you enter the chapel each day with this power. You may draw floor plans up to 4 times when drafting the 4 corner rooms of your house. Why would I not choose the pawn? Knight, bishop, rook, or queen? Knight, bishop, rook, or queen. And what's the king? You may choose a color. Rooms of the chosen color are more likely to be drawn while drafting. See, there's your problem. If you sit on the puzzle, it'll be under you and you won't be able to see it properly to solve it. Oh, shut up. I'm gonna take the pawn. You may give up this power by returning to this chamber on any future day and unlocking the pieces again. Oh, you can swap too. That's good. Does it say somewhere anything about that? Oh, it shows which ones I've solved. Let's go. There wasn't anything else I was gonna do today, was there? Aside from gamble and try and get my money up. I don't have a bunk room in the house, do I? No, I don't. I did not draft a bunk room this time. All right, there wasn't anything else in here, per se. I have 2 keys left. Where's the study? The study's right here. Where's the lever? I'm not a smart person. It's the drafting studio that I needed. Right? Yeah, it's the drafting studio that I need. Was there something I wanted to craft? Keycard doesn't go with anything. I can't craft with any of those other ones. So no. 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 All right. Gembathy. All right. Drafting studio is one to the right. All right, so the middle door is a bad door. How do I know which way's north? How do I know how this layout works? We'll do this door first. Yeah. All right. That's how it go. You have reached rank 8. You may now promote and receive a new power that will last until the end of the day. $83. That was very nice. So wait. Great Hall. Let me open that. Gets me another key. I have to open this. And it would be this one. Lever? No lever. All right. Oh, well. It's gambling time. Wait. Why do I have 100? I have exactly 100? We're done. We don't need to gamble at all. Boom. Trophy of Wealth for buying out the showroom's entire stock, including this trophy. Wow, that's the first Xbox achievement I've gotten. That's hilarious. There's nothing else special that I need to do. Nope. So what am I working on now? What safes haven't I opened? There's only one, right? Because one of the red envelopes is we're not able to find anywhere? I guess I'm working on Sanctum keys. Vault of a bank, beneath all the among all the clocks, beneath the docks, held by a king on his throne, sixth in a station, left by one of your own. Last key is waiting behind the last door of 8. But I don't know if I used that key. And I don't know what happened to it, because it's not there anymore. Closet, 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 bedroom closet! For the first time. Metal detector. And sleeping mask. I really should have made it the hall closet. Commissary. Buy that. I'll buy all of these, thank you very much. Magnifying glass. Shovel. Alright, before we go any farther, we go out and we check what's out here. I have a lot of gems. Let's do the schoolhouse. Dang it! I did walk in. was hoping I wouldn't have made that mistake. Alright, please open to the left. Nope. Reading nook. Obvious hallways, obvious. Classroom. Dang it. All right. Grade 1. Hall pass. You will not lose steps traveling between 2 adjoining hallways. Hall pass is nuts. It is an excellent item. Workshop would be really good here. I mean, being able to craft something. Yeah, we'll do it. Now, do I want the detector shovel or do I hope for a spare battery? That's an easy question. What are the actual odds of getting a spare battery? That ends my day. All of these do. That's really funny. Can I get a key card? That's so funny. We'll do the library. Bookshop. There's no money in here. Nope. Curse of Blackbridge. We call it a day. Architect's Cottage. That was fast. Alright. Unimas. Gonna run an ad. I'll be back. And we're back. Alright, give me the money. What did I do to get so many gems yesterday? Why did I have so freaking many right off the rip? Tool shed. Not a bad starting point. I do need the power hammer again, because I think I might be able to break down the wall in the chess piece room. So we need to get to the library. Reading takes us to the library. That's perfect. Where? There it is. I have been waiting for that. So orange isn't the color. All right. Right. Oh, whoops. Shoot. That's not what I wanted. Get my allowance. Dearest children, the pieces are in place and all rigid cogs have been greased. However, if our ambitious plans are to succeed, we must strike this Tuesday. The routine changing of guard personnel on the first of each month means the opportunity we have created for ourselves will likely never be so opportune. If we wait even one additional week, the window will be closed. On Tuesday, there will be 3 royal guards stationed at Learson Hall, 2 of which will be wearing black gloves in lieu of the traditional white. We would be wise to sacrifice almost everything to avoid the white-gloved guard, striking only when he takes a recess. The 2 black-gloved guards have been instructed to bind, blind, and gag themselves, to spare us the precious extra minutes it would take your group to execute that task on their behalf. However, that also means that once we reach the exhibit, we will truly be on our own. May the black shores guide us, may the black skies shield us, may our fathers be proud of us. In arms, your faithful soldier, Pharaoh. Alright, electronic keycard. They're probably, like, double locked, so they probably need keys and key cards. I'll be back. Do the 10. if I go back to my pictures, heist plan. Security system controls are behind the crown? Oh, so I screwed up. I see. Okay. All right. Another time. That's unfortunate. It really is. That's why I had so many. Pants? Yes, Pants was here. I don't know if he still is. This is not an empty box. The empty boxes are both false. The empty boxes are both true. Should I dig? Not an empty box. The empty boxes are both false. The empty boxes are both true. Where's the logic here? Who's making foods? The empty boxes are both false. The empty boxes are both true. Oh, yeah, I should have dug deeper. I'm not going to bother figuring out what the solution was, but I can see the logic there. Halls of Holly, Green Thumb, Key to the Bedroom, Red Rover, Gold Sink. What rooms do I need at this point? I need the sledgehammer. The power hammer. Which means I need coat check or I need to find a hammer. Either is acceptable. All right, we got a book to read. The Curse of Blackbridge. The legend of Blackbridge is one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm, for versions of this tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming over the years more colorful, more verbose, and as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations in the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet, the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic. The story my grandmother told me as a boy long ago. Part 1. The Berry Picker from Oris. That sounds familiar. I think there was a note that talked about picking berries. Many years ago, before peace... How many pages are there? Oh my god, this book is so long. We got some reading to do. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws composed of society's worst in a time when society was at its worst. And for each crime that fearful travelers credited to the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often value their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jesper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jesper lived in a gutter behind a churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It is not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take any easy road out. An easy and well-traveled road paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentrylands, where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jesper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. It was here that he met his surrogate family and saviors, the notorious gang of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardened circumstances that had led him to this vocation of banditry, Jesper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he worked alone while others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. On one such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out into the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jesper could reach the furthest most berry patches without worrying about being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way, Jesper had passed by many a familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments in earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even patience had its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in this new grove surprised even Jesper. The red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in this task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him. A carriage! A carriage is approaching! The thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept toward the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment more before the sound's source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around a corner of trees, led by 2 beautiful white horses, and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated upon the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper had ever seen. It was not just any carriage. It was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jesper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effect that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You, boy! Get out from behind that bush!" he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You startled me half to death coming round the bend of my own drive, and me seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought not be any face. Jesper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries. Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jesper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with a berry basket. Any suspicions the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the Unholy Hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression even made allowances for a smile. Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for him, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy. Jesper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. I know, and what luck I found them! I have only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number. The driver bent down for a closer look. And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far. Jesper replied with a scripted response. A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods. My God, that is far. You couldn't have come all that way only this morning. It was true. Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled, and while that response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Blackbridge Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here. Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a prize such as these. Surely you have tasted them for yourself. Jesper felt happier with this response, as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here in our carriage, so I am ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn such an equal reward. It was Jesper's time to smile. Then let my efforts reward us both today. He raised the basket even higher. A taste in memory of your youth, sir. The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. And at the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes. And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth. The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause, though I will admit the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me. Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search the seat under him. Why have you no purse upon your person? The driver slowly raised his hands cautiously, pointing toward the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife's edge to a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did in turn softly. There's a lockbox in the carriage. Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands, a concession I assure you of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat. The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree, where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jesper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile and kindness Jesper had seen on the man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me? Jesper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, securing the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man. If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Inside, the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed a passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a liveried servant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's back seat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Ordinian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient ruins. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not open easily without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing from his indentured position. "Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me with to open this box?" Without emotion, the driver replied, "There is no key to that box." Jesper stood up. Easy enough then. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resisted to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent back down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised by how heavy it seemed, given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile once again returned. "You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed." Jesper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. "What is it?" "That's one." Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jesper tightened his grip on the effigy. "One what, you mumbling agenter? And in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person?" The man did not seem intimidated. "One pace." He paused for effect. 12 more and you will be dead." He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jesper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses, and had never doubted their validity in the past, but now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do? To be discovered here, beside a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries and raving about a curse that could very well not be real. No, it would most certainly be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces, and see if life goes on. But Jesper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution. And if, by some stroke of luck, the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him, as if he found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him, the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short number of paces back to the road. 4. Perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task too great to chance. And so, after a profound breath, he took his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox, whose typical function oft secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jesper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? And with that statement said aloud, to the horses seemingly, Jesper took up the reins with confidence. Part 2. Below the Black Bridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the dim. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on third watch today. Quietly collecting her things and wits, Miller turned as she left, waving to her young friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage. You didn't expect it would be story time, did you? Lol. Careful not to awake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked toward the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved, and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered a braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting behind a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn, Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth dramatically, illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on third watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time, their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy, never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern as well as a clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gentry lands and the northern mountains, the overpass that connected Oris and Reddington. To the city-faring travelers of the realm, the bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern-housed bandit, it was a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, subtly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary. Gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their month among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying to say, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back to the canyon. Squinching through the leaves, the two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sounds of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long gray coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to the local patrol, the Black Guard. Although not an everyday occurrence, their presence at Blackbridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge, information that the girls would promptly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the Unholy Hound, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the Black Guard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravi's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. This did not sound like the typical carriage, cautiously approaching the bridge to cross. Instead of the familiar crunch of high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downwards, looking through the foliage. The sounds were not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were coming from below the bridge. In an instant, Miller had knocked an arrow and drawn her bow. Go! Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing toward the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. The base had been compromised. This was a Blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She had expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing that thought, her second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse such rough terrain, yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of the sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller quickly glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Jeffrey Heartslasher, led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward in customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him, a blood-stained effigy carved from stone. Miller was inconsolable. Jesper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him, though deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of the cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness, in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he had treasured. The mysterious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was nothing to say. Miller awoke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was also in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her. But even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever heard spoken in the canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller felt a hand in the darkness pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed two bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. Two bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour or so later, the screams began. Blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Fodrick Lee of the Blackguard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. Whew! That was a lot of reading, and boy, was that heavy. All right, where are we going from here? I have forgotten what else we were doing today. I don't have a schoolhouse, so a classroom. Oh, I can't do a Chamber of Mirrors here because it will dead end me because I don't have a key for the exhibit. We'll do a bookshop, and hopefully we get enough money. Or the run ends unless we get a, unless we get a security room. Oh, wait, no, the run's just over. Alright, we grab some stuff. Alright. Is there somewhere I want to end the day? No. I'm tired after all that reading. Reading is tiring. Reading aloud is tiring. Ding. Ambition of the pawn. Okay, it appears right there. Could do the hovel. Let's do the trading post. I don't get anything for free in here, right? No. No, I don't. Alright, let's go right and try and get a greenhouse, and then we'll try and get a, That's why they always say to read before bed, but when you read the kind of books I do, it keeps me up to read more and not go to sleep. Yeah, I know. It really is a paradox. I read before bed, though. Alright, reading nook. I'll unlock this. Do the corridor. I don't need the library. Not right now, at least. Greenhouse! That's what we like to see. Alright, now I need the power hammer. I gotta either make one or find one. We'll do the solarium. Gets me a dig spot too. Courtyard's not bad. I'm gonna stop unlocking chests, because if I can find a hammer, I'll just bash them open. What I find works for me for reading a book to fall asleep is, oh, well, that's wonderful. Do that. Is I'll just read, and eventually my eyes get heavy, and then I can't read anymore. I think we're more likely to be able to go up if I do it from here. Kennel's a strong opener. Where you at? There's my buddy. Use your pets. Good boy. At some point, I need to enter the dormitory. Depends on the type of book, though. That's true. There's coat check. Excellent. Gimme. Thank you for my power hammer. We'll pop this. Free cloister is very nice. All right. Now, First, we bash open this wall. Oof. The original gardener's logbook. February 1990 until when I get fired. She loves me, she loves me, she loves me not, she loves me. Well, we've got screenshots to take. Because this is going to be important. Because this is the guy that stole the information. Original garden log 1. This is a record of my many indiscretions and lapses of judgment. Should this logbook ever be found, know that my guilt is exceeded only by my failings. Oh, wow. Garden log... wait. Original garden log 2. As groundskeeper of a vast estate, it is my responsibility to ensure the property remains well maintained and beautiful all year round. From the many green rooms of the manor to the sprawling lawns, it is my duty to attend to every aspect of the grounds, ensuring they are orderly, presentable, and accessible so that they may be appreciated by both guests and the family. That would be the day. This logbook, many years overdue, will serve as a record of my duties, discoveries, and contributions I have made to the estate over the many years I have served here as groundskeeper, and however many more there are yet to come. Not many, apparently. Danny Ravane. Ah, I think I have a clue here. Okay. Did I save that? Yes. I'll circle back to what that clue is in a moment. No, don't replace that. That was an error. 3. February 25th, 1990. A few months ago, I made a truly remarkable discovery in my role of Mount Holly horticulturist. Through years of breeding and experimentation, I successfully created a new species of flower with a fruit that resembles a gemstone in every detail. Although the fruit is not edible, it is nevertheless a marvel of nature, possessing all the beauty and brilliance of a genuine jewel, but with the added benefit of being entirely organic. Despite the creation of this flower being my proudest accomplishment to date, my joy was slightly curbed when I was informed by Randolph Moore that my employer's company, Cinca, had decided to deny my requests to not announce my discovery to the public, completely disregarding my years of hard work and dedication to this project. This decision was absolute rubbish. I have poured my heart and soul into this project, investing countless hours of research and experimentation to create something truly extraordinary. I feel this flower has the potential to make a significant impact on the field of horticulture, and it feels like such a waste to keep a gem like this hidden away for, quote, further research. As I suspected, they wanted the flower to serve primarily as a cheap way to produce resources for special floor plans. Wait. 4. Wait, what? 4. October 21st. I had high hopes for this logbook, but have struggled to find a reason to add another entry. My employer's decision earlier this year has left me feeling disheartened, and I find it difficult to find the motivation to continue in my work. I'm aware that my disappointment is affecting my performance, and I am reminded of that daily when I see the houseplant slowly dying as I make my rounds. Perhaps I should quit. I really, really should have. My ambition has been reignited. I overheard, perhaps with some prodding, that the employee contracts for the staff are kept within the Baron's private office on the 10th rank. A fact I found quite remarkable, considering that the house only has 9 ranks. This all but confirms the long-held suspicion that the rumored 46th room is in fact north of the antechamber. A suspicion I had always considered too obvious to be plausible. As much as I wish to abandon all pretense of caring about my job to focus on this new project, I fear I must resume my gardening duties for the sake of appearances. It has, after all, been a long time since the north side of the house has received the groundkeeper's undivided attention. Let's trim the hedges and see what we find. I don't know that I saved this. Wait. Did I make a mistake here? Original I did, yes. Oops. So this is log 4. What the? Print screen. Thank you. Original garden log 4. Yes, I want to overwrite it. Thank you. If there is a 10th rank, it is impossible to perceive its existence from the outside. So if it does exist, then I'm going to assume that reading it can only be done through the antechamber. Reaching it can only be done through the antechamber. Sadly, security has only gotten tighter in the years after Mary's disappearance, and that room is no longer locked behind regular doors that can be opened by regular keys. No, that would be too easy. Instead, the Baron had remote access levers installed in different rooms of the house. Funny enough, I already know the location of 3 of these levers, as one was recently installed in the greenhouse, and another 2 were installed in the secret garden. It's almost like they were choosing green rooms just to tempt me. It appears each antechamber door has one primary access lever, in addition to a redundancy in other locations. Although these past few months of exploration have yet to yield the fruit I seek, I have in that time gained a much greater... I haven't checked chat in a while. Time to go play a zombie game? Heyo, very nice. Although these past few months of exploration have yet to yield the fruit I seek, I have in that time gained a much greater mastery of the estate and have stolen many glimpses behind the black curtain that veils her many secrets. Among the more exciting of my recent finds was the discovery of a hidden chamber in one of the outer rooms, sealed shut behind a false wall. The stale quality of the air and the unmistakable aroma of corroded metal led me to believe that this chamber has remained sealed for many decades. Within it, I found a large vat and a copper still, their time-worn surfaces streaked with the creeping veins of oxidation and rust. Resealed in January after deal in Reddington fell through. I'm unsure if these instruments can be restored to working condition, but if they can, I may yet find a use for the sugar beets and potato stores rotting away in the root cellar. Seven. At last, I have finally discovered the location of one of the north levers. It is deep underground in a location so far removed from any of the state's plant life that had I been discovered, I would have been completely vulnerable without any excuse but curiosity to offer to my captor. As curious as I was to pull it, I've decided to wait until the Baron is away, as it reduces the risk of being caught significantly. And once he leaves, I don't think that a delay in returning will be too hard to engineer now that Kristoff is under my thumb and beholden to do whatever I command. Sinclair's inner sanctum. Garden log 8. Well, there's no turning back now. After finally reaching the objective I've been working toward for the past 4 months, I made an impulsive decision in the heat of the moment and took more than just my contract. I found something that I knew could give me the chance to make back some of the money I felt was owed to me, and I grabbed the opportunity without really considering the consequences. Given that there is now only one missing file in the staff contracts, I have unwittingly left an incriminating trail leading directly back to me. My only hope is that they consider it too obvious to be plausible. I'm almost positive I'm not going to get away with it, but at this point, I feel I owe it to myself to get what's coming to me one way or another. And there's the blackmail note that they wrote. All right, now, 2 things I have to do. Done with you, you can go away. Done with you, you can go away. I haven't wrote down anything on my notes thing today. It's mostly just been solving things. I wrote in my notebook, though. No, this way. For chonk. Down we go. Zoom. Hello, chess puzzle. Bam. Well, crap. Chess room puzzle. That's probably cat because of the room, the thing from the kennel. All right. Now I'm gonna write down in here. Chess room puzzle. Start potential solutions. Slash location. Start C at kennel. ASTLE. Underscore 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 underscore. All right, so that's that. I don't know if there's anything else I need the hammer for. It might be time to let this thing go. Okay, and the other thing I want to test... Well, actually, hang on. Is there anything down here? Can I bash this open or something? And can I light those torches with burning glass? If I had burning glass, I could test it. That's something I need to remember for next time I have it. And I don't have the materials for it. No. Not even close. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I could trade the power hammer for burning glass? That would, oof. That would be so convenient. Okay, so... we're gonna swing by here and grab the new gardener's name. Robert Nogula. In which case this would be N O G L. Let's try, because the prior deactivated admin password was the first four of the previous gardener's last name and then his first initial. So let's try the new gardener. Also, she loves me not. No, she loves me. She loves me. She loves me. Yeah. N-O-G-L-R. Admin, not crap. Do I have a screenshot of the staff list anywhere? Did I save that? Would be nice if I had, but I probably didn't. But I know... wait. Do I have a screenshot of any of Randolph? What was his last name? What was Randolph's last name? Why don't I remember his last name? Alright, we need the servants' quarters or the mail room. There's no way B-A-B-B-A would work, right? Babbage and Babbage. B-A-B-B-A. There we go. User database. Plus 3 additional delisted admin keys. So. More. Oh. M-O-O-R-R. That's Randolph. Okay. T-H-O-M-K. Exit. Go back in. Admin key M-O-O-R-R. Network settings, terminal timeout, electronic mail settings. On. Check connection. It's been disabled. Terminal timeout. Timeout setting controls how long a computer terminal stays connected to the network without disconnecting from the server. Default setting. If I change it to 1 month, default setting requires a new connection each time the user attempts to log into the network. Just leave them active. Why not? Turn to menu. Admin logs. The last cables have finally been laid and the office terminal has been connected to the central network. Given the ever-changing nature of the rooms on the estate, we chose to install the server outside of the house to maintain connection stability at all times. A small cavern off of the eastern drive was selected for the server site. All remaining computer terminals on the estate are now connected to the network mainframe, and we will now begin testing remote access capabilities between them. I've also asked the Baron to come up with a name for the network. After some deliberation, our network has been named Blackbridge, a somewhat ominous name for the project, given the legend from which the term derives, though very fitting considering we chose an actual cave to house the mainframe. I only hope that our servers do not suffer that same fate that befell those in the story. Regular maintenance report fixed a connection error that was occurring between the office and security terminal. We have also added electronic mail capabilities to each terminal that can be accessed by the network. Recording capabilities of all cameras on the estate has been disabled. Additionally, the existing video playback function on the security terminal has been removed. Lots of deleted logs. As requested yesterday, new admin key created, though the requested name doesn't quite fit with our typical length formatting. A plus 1 more? Question mark?
Effective immediately, all electronic mail capabilities have been restricted and can now only be accessed via the office terminal. All other terminal inboxes have been archived and can only be restored via admin control. Temporary access to the mainframe in Blackbridge Grotto has been restored to perform routine maintenance. Temporary access has been restored. Updated access privileges for the following account types. Full access to all features, access to the user database, full access and access to archived admin logs and deleted database entries. Oof, archive access, huh? RTA is down while we work on a solution to reported terminal connection failures. RTA is working again. Terminal connections tested and confirmed functionality. To make future testing easier, added ability to access offline terminals through the RTA when Blackbridge is open. Per request, one temporary admin key has been added to the network. Ruat H. Ruat H. Dead. One new admin key has been added. Tom K. Added new data management features to the Blackbridge admin control. Changing of the guard. In preparation for Simon's arrival, inbound and outbound messages, as well as offsite connections from outside the estate, have been disabled per the instructions left by the Baron himself. Import trophy data. I see. All right, return to menu. All right, we got an ad running, it looks like. Incredible. Ruat H has been deactivated. Sync H. Sync H? Herbert Sinclair didn't have access? K. User database. 3 additional delisted admin keys. So there's more that I need to track down, but those are going to be members of staff. So I need to find a staff room. And I think that's it for walls that I need to break down. So let's trade. Let's do a trade. Trade up, trade down. Trade it all around. Secret garden key, car keys, magnifying glass. You know what? Bet. Trade that. Prism key. No trade. Now I need a metal detector, and then we can test to see if we can light those torches. All right, to the cloister. Ooh, I heard a security thing unlock. Very nice. What was I hoping for? Mailroom. Secret passage doesn't help. We'll do garage. Gives me some keys. And then we'll go north. Secret passage again. Whatever, we'll do secret passage. Halls of Holly. What do we get? We'll do a hallway, standard hallway. Library's fine. Freezer would be nice, but not yet. Pop these open. Hopefully we get another key. We did. Okay, good. All right, I need a mailroom. Do the gallery. He ate. What is it? The armory? Yeah, we'll do the night. Gluttony. Envy. Lust. Mundanity. Wrath. Avarice. Sloth. And hubris. Closed exhibit. That's locked, but we can get around it. Nowhere to dig. Nowhere to dig. Commissary is good for me right now. Can I buy a key card, please? Am I SOL? There is still down here. Redraw. I have to go straight. Do the secret garden. All right, that's that unlocked. Veranda's a freebie. Just let me get behind the thing. Hello, broken lever. Fancy seeing you here. Conference room. Gift shop is very nice. Trophy room gets me more gems, which is good. Gets me another exit, which is good. Look at them trophies. I'm fine with the archives. Alright, what do we have here? Reveal to a tripwire. Lower barrier. Oh, I see. Okay. This is about as good as this can get, actually. Reset. Go, go, go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Paper crown. If there's not a red room among the first 3 floor plans you draw while drafting, you may redraw floor plans. Also useful for rehearsing museum burglary. I have a thought. I can't test it because the secret garden opens over here. Unless I get very lucky with the Great Hall right here. And still probably not because footsteps are limited and I can't open that door. Okay, no. That's the end of this run. But what I think I want to try doing is putting the blue crown on that pedestal. But I think that's going to be another time because I'm out of footsteps. And I'm out of time. The only other thing I can think to do is try to get back to coat check, and I don't think that's going to happen, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. 7, 6, 5, 4. There needs to be food in multiple of these next few rooms. There's no dig spot. 2. Is there food here? No. 1. Is there food here? Yes. There's food here. Oh, actually, apples really are extra delicious. Oh, actually, we made it back to coat check. Let's store the magnifying glass. I'll need it for burning glass. Was there a bedroom? None. I'm going home. All right. And that's it for the day. And I mean that in multiple ways. That's it for me today as well. So thank you all for hanging out. We're getting close. At some point, I'm going to need to spend a bunch of time underground just solving the the puzzles down there. Either way, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate the company and the conversation. I will not be streaming tomorrow. I may be streaming on Sunday. I may be streaming on Monday. I may not. School starts soon, so I will not be as active. Starting Monday, I will not be as active streaming as I have been. But either way, I look forward to streaming when I can. I'd love to see you guys again. And until next time, take care, everybody. Peace out.